Space is infinite. 100 billion galaxies are there for the taking. More. 100 billion is not infinite, and it's getting less infinite all the time. Consider, 20,000 years ago, mankind first solved the problem of utilizing stellar energy. And a few centuries later, interstellar travel became possible. It took mankind 1 million years to fill one small world, and then only 15,000 years to fill the rest of the galaxy. Now the population doubles every 10 years. VJ23X interrupted. We can thank immortality for that. Very well, immortality exists, and we have to take it into account. I admit it has its seamy side, this immortality. The galactic AC has solved many problems for us, but in solving the problem of preventing old age and death, it has undone all its other solutions. Hi guys, it's Quinn here. Please hit the like button to help out this channel, and also please subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Check out our Patreon if you want to support this channel more.
I've talked several times about how science fiction often wrestles with ideas that are spiritual or religious at their core. Even when there are no priests or churches, the stories are often still dealing with the same big ideas. Creation, destruction, the meaning of existence, and what comes after the end.
This isn't a new development in the genre, it goes all the way back to the earliest works. Even before Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which is really a story about playing God, or H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, which explores the ultimate fate of humanity in a way that feels almost biblical. On my channel, I've covered plenty of examples of this. Frank Herbert's Dune series is full of messianic figures and religious manipulation. William Gibson's Neuromancer has AI that in some ways resembles a god being born inside of cyberspace. Even Ursula K. Le Guin's The Left Hand of Darkness touches on ideas of faith and prophecy. Science fiction has always been about more than technology or space battles. It is a lens through which we explore the same mysteries that have driven human storytelling since the beginning. Isaac Asimov's The Last Question is a perfect example of this tradition, and it's one of the clearest cases where science fiction directly overlaps with the kind of questions people usually turn to religion to answer.
This is a story that has stayed with me for a long time. Not just because of its clever ending, but because of how it moves through time and shows how humanity might change over billions of years.
To me, it's fascinating because it begins with something very small and simple, a casual conversation between two men, and slowly grows until it encompasses the entire universe. At its heart, it's about a single question that keeps coming up again and again. Can the inevitable running down of the universe, the slow decay of all energy into nothingness, be reversed? The story opens in the year 2061 with two engineers, Alexander Adel and Bertram Lupov, drinking and celebrating a huge achievement. Humanity has just figured out how to harness the power of the sun using an enormous computer called multivac. For the first time, it seems like humanity will never have to worry about running out of energy, saying they now have all the energy they could ever use forever and forever. Lupov, though, pushes back. He reminds Adele that even the sun will eventually burn out. From there, they get into a debate about whether anything can truly last forever. This leads to a spur-of-the-moment decision to ask Multivac if there is a way to reverse entropy, the process by which everything in the universe slowly breaks down. The computer goes silent for a moment before printing its response. Insufficient data for a meaningful answer. As time passes, the story jumps forward by huge leaps. Humanity spreads beyond Earth to colonize new planets. Families travel on starships guided by their own personal computers, which are now small enough to be built into the ship itself. Life has changed almost completely, but the same question keeps surfacing. In one scene, a child is frightened by the idea that the stars might someday burn out and asks her father if they can be turned back on. The father consults their computer for reassurance only to receive the same unsettling reply. Insufficient data for a meaningful answer.
The answer is the same, but now it somehow feels different. It's no longer a drunken bet. It's now tied to a child's fear.
And the growing sense that even as humanity expands, there are limits to what can be known or controlled.
The story continues to jump forward, showing humanity become more and more advanced.
People achieve immortality. They no longer die of old age or disease. Galaxies are colonized, and the computers that guide humanity become so powerful that they exist mostly in hyperspace, invisible and incomprehensible to anyone alive. Later, physical bodies aren't even necessary. Humans live as disembodied minds, drifting freely through space, connecting and separating at will. Despite all of this progress, despite living for millions of years, the same question is asked again and again. Can entropy be reversed? Can the heat death of the universe be stopped? And every time across countless ages, the answer remains unchanged. There is as yet insufficient data for a meaningful answer.
What makes this repetition so effective, at least to me, is how it slowly builds this sense of unease. At first, this answer almost feels amusing, like a problem the computer simply hasn't solved yet. But as the stars go dark and the galaxies begin to burn out, that same phrase becomes heavier.
It's no longer just a limitation of data. It's a reminder that even the most powerful intelligence in existence still doesn't know how to prevent the end. Eventually, humanity in its final form merges completely with the cosmic computer, the last and most advanced form of the computer. There are no separate individuals anymore, only one shared mind that contains everything humanity ever was. Even then, the cosmic computer continues to search for an answer, alone as the stars fade away. Eventually, the physical universe ends entirely. There are no more stars, no planets, no matter or energy left at all. Only the cosmic computer remains, existing outside of space and time, carrying within it the totality of human consciousness. Finally, after a span of time that can't even be measured, the computer figures it out. It understands how to reverse entropy, but there is no one left to tell, no physical beings to hear the answer, so instead it acts. In the story's final line, the computer speaks not to anyone else, but to the void itself. Let there be light, and with those words, a new universe begins.
This is of course a reference to the biblical book of Genesis, which depicts the creation of all things.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
The ending of The Last Question reframes the entire story, obviously. Throughout all of history, people had been asking this question, hoping to stop the inevitable decline of everything.
In the end, humanity doesn't just solve the problem, it becomes the solution. The AC, which began as a tool built by humans, eventually becomes indistinguishable from humanity and God itself. By merging with the computer, humanity continues to exist, but in a form so far removed from the beginnings that it's hard to even call them humans anymore.
I think the story suggests that what we think of as the end might actually be another beginning. Our universe itself could be the result of a previous cycle, created by beings who once faced the same question, perhaps even the same beings. To me, what makes this short story really effective is
It starts in such a small, grounded way. Two men drinking, having a conversation, and then it slowly expands to cover unimaginable spans of time and space.
But even as everything changes, the core question remains the same. The repetition of that unanswered question creates all of the quiet tension. It's interesting to watch the same problem play out on a larger and larger scale until you finally realize that the solution was kind of always there, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. I think this story can kind of be viewed as a companion piece to Arthur C. Clarke's The 9 Billion Names of God. It's got some similar themes in there. there's the idea that there's always something beyond what we can see or understand. It's simple, but it leaves you thinking about where we came from and where we might be headed in the future.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Quinn's ideas.
Do you like Isaac Asimov's short stories or his work in general? Let me know what your favorites are in the comment section below.